I had to restart this video, to stop the cursing from the first 1 to 2 minutes in the beginning. I have zero sympathy for you bums. Zero sympathy for you haters, you doubters, you Rob Lucci anti-advocates. You should be ashamed. You should be embarrassed. You should not want to show your fucking face. You bitch ass. Oh my god. It's only been, oh my god, fuck. It's been, there's another one. It hasn't even been 30 seconds. You losers have been all on TikTok, all in the YouTube comment sections of these big YouTubers, of Morge, of King of Lightning, of Brago. I don't even watch Brago, but I've been recently trying, just up my One Piece, YouTuber stuff, and I've been watching this Brago guy. And the Lucci disrespect. I'm talking about the 1069 spoilers, by the way. The official scans, all the way translated, by the way. Not official translations, but the actual chapter, unofficial chapter, full translations, unofficial translations. Rob Lucci's going toe-to-toe with Gear 5. I don't care if Luffy's holding back. I don't care if, he's just this is basically just Luffy's devil fruit going off, and Rob Lucci is just, trying his hardest to contest with that. People, don't move the goalposts here. Do not move the goalposts. Don't act dumb to cope your argument now. I should have made this video a week and a half ago, but the spoilers came out, and I heard that Rob Lucci got one-shotted by Luffy, and I just like, no, I'm not going to make the video because it's going to look dumb, even though I felt like I still should have made it to be like, Rob Lucci deserves his respect. I really wish I would have made that video because I knew the entire time Rob Lucci had to put up some type of a fight. Like, they weren't going to, first off, even if it didn't make sense for him to, I knew he was going to put up some type of a fight, some type of a fight, just because of who he is. The same thing that this Brago guy was saying in his last video, explaining why he was so, I guess, he wasn't explaining why he was salty, but I took it as a salty video, like he thought he was wrong, and a little bit of cope plus explaining himself, which he's 90% right. I just think I think 10% of that he didn't admit that it was cope. But it's cool. He doesn't need to anymore because he was right. He ended up being right. But the thing is, it actually does make sense. How do you go to, first off, Rob Lucci was basically pretty much stronger than Luffy when they fought in Nanny's lobby, right? Luffy beat him on some, determination, bust through the wall, bust through my limit, and he beat Rob Lucci on that type shit. Rob Lucci was pretty much, they were equal, but I like to say Rob Lucci was, without going into a state of power that your emotions can bring you to as just a human being, as just science. Without getting to that state, Rob Lucci's stronger than Luffy. Luffy pushed further beyond, beat Rob Lucci. Luffy gets stronger via training with Rayleigh, which was pretty much all hockey training. Because Luffy was already strong as fuck pre-time skip. Luffy, like the way his feats, from just punching motherfuckers, and you feel me, the terrain, like damage, collateral damage and shit from some of his strongest attacks. Like, the damage has always been there. It's the perception in battle and the ability to hit these super strong devil fruit users who can, like, survive all this shit via, like, like Dofi, and dodge all, certain shit, like the admirals, with their future sight. God, I'm just so hyped that you guys are eating your words. But yeah, Luffy's always been strong. Hockey was the thing that pushed him over the edge. Fighting these super strong guys is the thing that helped his battle senses, can't become keen enough to compete with those who fight evenly with Kaido. Rob Lucci is an official government trained agent. He has access to anything Luffy has been trained to do. He can have it officially trained to him properly by the books. You need that real battle to be really battle tested. I think that's the difference between emperors and government officials, is that these emperors and these pirates, man, they're battle tested for real. This is their life. So they're going to get stronger at a crazy rate because, it's all about, you feel me, conquering the next guy, overcoming the next guy. Like, if you're a pirate, being a conqueror, having conqueror's hockey, being a top dog, that would be your greatest advantage. So this is what they do. That's the one advantage I would give, these pirates training. That's why I put so much stock in the admirals. I feel like being government officials, being trained by whoever, you have potential to grow just as strong as you want to. These guys aren't just motherfuckers in suits running around. Well, no. So Rob Lucci was basically, in my eyes, the entire time advanced armament away from being pretty much Luffy level. And I say the same thing about Katakuri. Like anybody who was near Luffy's level at any certain time in the series, you can say that they're a certain training arc away from being his level now, because all of Luffy's main rivals, I'm looking at like Katakuri, Doflamingo, Lucci. These guys are like, you feel me? These are like slight prodigy type weird. These are some of the only guys who are equal, like seen portrayed as equal to Luffy, and like, this is what they do for their team. They're the guy on their perspective team. So them getting a crazy power up in a short amount of time, especially with the same 2 year time skip that Luffy got, why is that such a crazy thing to comprehend? That Lucci could have gotten advanced armament hockey. So like that's like, okay, so if Katakuri from Whole Cake learns advanced armament, are we gonna say that he's not Emperor level? Because that's all it took Luffy to learn before he could be Kaido. He had Future Sight. He just needed the advanced armament and in turn advanced conquerors. Rio is another word for saying advanced. Just period. You could just say Rio, and between hockey and between conquerors and armament, you just say Rio, the flow of hockey of both. But yeah, man. You ask me, I tell you, Rob Lucci was a power up like that away from being able to fight with Gear 5, as we see he did in this chapter. You haters, there's no coping. There's literally no coping you can do. You just look dumb. Like you think Oda power scale. You realize Oda doesn't power scale, right? It's us that power scales. Oda writes the story in a way it makes sense, and it's us to afterwards power scale. So people try to actually power scale and predict stuff. Are you dumb? Like, I feel like you're stupid. Like, I'm actually trying to offend you now. You can't predict the story by power scaling. Power scaling comes after characters get feats. We do that to predict hypothetical battles and stuff that, you feel me? You're trying to predict an important narrative story beat, a former villain returning. You're trying to predict that with power scaling. Are you dumb? Oda doesn't even power scale his own shit.
And do not be that guy. Obviously, authors who write these shonen battle manga have to power scale to a degree. They are aware of who beat who in the past. They are aware of how strong a certain character is versus one of the weakest characters in the show, if you're talking about a particularly strong character. So they are aware of these things that are like obvious. They're aware of how fans should perceive things. But the thing is, authors are not scaling to the point where the scaling is ever looked at before the narrative. Scaling will be pushed to the side 100% of the time in terms of what we actually see on the art, the pages, if he can acknowledge it in dialogue and, with a like the Kaku thing. He can say, yeah, such and such shouldn't be happening because this and this, but then he'll show you exactly what he wants you to see visually, because that part of the fight, like the anime might give us more things, like more freedom. But the part that Oda wants you to see is the part that's like, yo, Rob is not getting done that bogus the entire time, period. I want to make this clear to you. Like, that's what Oda's thinking about. Like, he's not doing any of this power scaling bullshit. He's showing off that Rob Lucci is now awakened and he's a badass. So, get with it.
Oh my god. You guys be blessed. Stop this Rob Lucci disrespect. Get on your fucking knees and apologize to everyone. You open your mouth sideways to in these comments over these past couple weeks, months, whenever the fuck we found out about Rob Lucci coming back to this arc. You've been proven utterly wrong. It doesn't matter how much he's losing this encounter to Luffy. There's conquerors involved in the fight, and Rob Lucci's still not getting squashed. Yeah, get you guys out of here. You're dumb.